My wife sat with her friends, smirking. "We've decided to divorce you." I calmly said, "The papers are already filed. By the way, did you know she's been screwing all of your husbands?" They all went pale. Hey, Reddit. So my wife thought she was ending me. She had her girls there for backup, phones out, ready to watch me crumble. What she didn't know was that I'd spent 3 months turning her secrets into paperwork. And paperwork doesn't beg. 8 years of marriage. That's what I, 33 male, had with Sloane, 34 female, before everything went to hell. We met at a mutual friends party. She was working her way up at Summit Financial. I was already pulling decent money at the Norfolk Southern Rail Yard as an operations supervisor. We clicked fast. Got married a year later. For nearly 8 years, things were solid. We had the house, 2 cars, decent savings. No kids yet, but we talked about it. Date nights every Friday, Sunday mornings at the farmer's market, that comfortable routine couples fall into when things work. Then about 4 months ago, things started getting weird. Sloane started climbing the ladder at Summit. Director of Client Relations, big salary bump, more responsibility, more late nights at the office, more work trips, more networking events, more girls' nights with Kirsten, Ashby, and Waverly. The crew. Sloane's friends and their husbands were always around. Backyard cookouts, holiday parties, couples dinners. Beckett was obsessed with his new BMW and the EZ Pass he kept bragging about for skipping toll lines. Trent ran a car dealership and never shut up about his latest sale. Their wives Kirsten and Ashby were Sloane's closest friends since college. The whole group had this thing where the women ran the show and the husbands just went along with whatever was decided. I noticed early on that Beckett and Trent would exchange looks whenever their wives started planning another event, like they were silently agreeing to just shut up and go with it. I didn't think much of it at first. She was ambitious. Always had been. I figured the late nights came with the territory. The new wardrobe made sense for her position. The fancy gym membership was just her taking care of herself. But then came the small things that didn't add up. The way she'd check her phone constantly, then put it face down when I walked by. The new passcode she changed twice in a month. The receipts that didn't match her stories. The perfume that smelled different when she came home versus when she left. I'm not stupid. I know what cheating looks like. Worked with enough guys whose wives stepped out, saw the signs, the pattern, the lies that didn't quite line up. That Tuesday night in February is when I stopped being a husband and started being a detective. Sloane claimed she was at Kirsten's helping with some project. Said she'd be home around 10. I was driving back from a late shift at the rail yard when I passed Kirsten's neighborhood. On a whim, I took the turn. Her house was completely dark. No cars in the driveway, nobody home. I sat there for maybe 5 minutes, engine running, trying to convince myself there was some innocent explanation. Maybe they went out. Maybe they were at someone else's place. Then I checked our joint credit card app. Fresh charge from 40 minutes ago. Marriott downtown. $247. That's when I knew. And that's when I stopped trusting anything she said. I didn't confront her that night. Didn't say a word when she came home at 11. Hair slightly different than when she left, smelling like hotel soap instead of her usual perfume. But I wasn't going to play detective for months while she drained our accounts. I moved fast. Over the next 6 weeks, I built a case that would make a forensic accountant proud. Here's the thing. We shared everything. Same bank login, same credit card alerts, same family cloud account from years ago. She was spending our money, and her phone was still syncing to an old iPad on the kitchen counter. Once I realized what I was looking at, I stopped guessing and started logging everything. Bank statements showing charges at hotels. The Marriott, a motel off Route 9. That boutique place downtown called the Augustine. The extended stay near the airport. All on our joint account, like she didn't even care about hiding it. So many visits I stopped being shocked and started being efficient. She was sloppy, receipts in the console, emailed confirmations forwarded to our shared inbox, and charges that didn't match her work dinner story. She'd claim she grabbed a quick bite with a colleague, but the charge showed $120 at a steakhouse. 2 entrees, wine, dessert. You don't order dessert at a client dinner. Screenshots of text from the iPad on the kitchen counter. Her messages still synced there from years ago when we set it up. She forgot to turn it off. Messages to someone saved as Kirsten work with heart emojis. Messages about meeting at the usual place. Ah, can't wait to feel your hands again. Miss the way you touch me. Kirsten work. Right. And the photos. Years ago, I set up a family cloud album for vacations. She never realized her camera roll was still syncing to it. Selfies, couple shots the guys had sent her, screenshots from video calls. The kind of stuff cheaters stupidly keep when they think they're being slick. Sloane and Beckett in the Marriott parking garage. A selfie she'd taken in the elevator with him visible behind her. His BMW logo keychain dangling from his hand. Timestamp showing 8:47 on a Tuesday. Same Tuesday, Kirsten posted online about having a quiet night in with my amazing husband. I could prove Sloan was there. If Kirsten didn't believe me, she could check Beckett's EZ Pass and parking charges herself. They'd match. A photo Trent had sent Sloan from outside that motel off Route 9, room 114 visible in the background, his arm around her waist, her head on his shoulder, looking at each other like they were in some romantic movie, not blowing up families. Photos with guys I didn't even recognize. A selfie at a coffee shop, their heads way too close together. A screenshot from what looked like a video call with some guy in an apartment. A shot someone took at a restaurant, his hand clearly on her thigh. My wife wasn't just cheating. She was collecting married men like trophies, and her best friend's husbands were apparently her favorites. I called Nico, a buddy who worked IT. Nico owed me big. I'd spent 3 weekends helping him move into his new place, hauled furniture up 4 flights of stairs because the elevator was broken. Never asked for anything back. Time to collect. Need your help with something tech-related, I told him over coffee. Got evidence of my wife's affairs, but I want to make sure it's all properly documented, organized, and backed up in multiple secure locations. Nico spent 2 weeks going through everything I'd already gathered, verifying metadata on photos, cross-referencing timestamps with location data, building a timeline that was airtight. Most of it was fragments, partial syncs, screenshots with missing context, charges that needed corroboration. Nico stitched it into something coherent. That one photo you were worried about, he said when he was done. Verified the metadata. It's legit. Tuesday, 3 weeks back, 8:47 p.m. Marriott parking garage. Same night Kirsten posted about their quiet evening at home. Exactly. He paused. I also noticed something when I was organizing dates. Sloan's hotel stays. A lot of them line up with expense reports she probably filed at work. Travel reimbursements, client dinners, that kind of thing. She was billing the affairs to her company? Looks like it. At least some of them. Hotels, dinners, maybe more. If her company ever looked closely, I sat back, letting that sink in. This wasn't just cheating anymore. This was documented financial fraud. Evidence that could wreck her career, not just her marriage. But I'd already found something else in the cloud sync. Something that made this nuclear instead of just bad. Trent had been using customer data from the dealership. Text threads Sloan screenshotted showed phone numbers that matched names she'd mentioned from his sales floor. He was hitting on women using their sales paperwork contact info. You're kidding, Nico said when I showed him. Gets worse. I pulled up another screenshot. Explicit messages to a customer, a woman who bought a Camry a few months back. He's been texting her ever since. The messages are graphic. Some photos were clearly taken at the dealership itself. That wasn't just cheating. That was a lawsuit waiting to happen. Beckett had been sloppy too. Screenshots showed him texting Sloan during work hours, mentioning leaving showings early, expensing lunches that were clearly not client meetings. Left the Henderson showing at 2, told them I had another appointment. Meet you in 20? 3 different times I found gaps like that. My neighbor had been watching too. 73 years old, lived on our street since Nixon, and nothing ever got past that woman. She'd been giving me looks for weeks. The kind that said she knew something I didn't. Honey, I didn't want to be the one, she said when I finally asked. But that woman's been having visitors. Different cars. Men I don't know. And I've been writing it all down because that's what you do when something ain't right. She spilled all of the tea. Dates, times, license plates, descriptions, Beckett's BMW, Trent's truck, all of it documented nice and neat. I had everything I needed, but I didn't pull the trigger yet. I sat across from my attorney in her conference room with the evidence folder between us. This is remarkably thorough, she said, flipping through the documentation. I had time to be thorough. The expense fraud angle is particularly useful. If she contests the divorce, we can subpoena Summit Financial's records. The dissipation of marital assets claim is solid. She's been charging affair-related expenses to your joint accounts for months. I want to do something first, I said. Before we file, I want to give them a chance to lie. She raised an eyebrow. Explain. Photos can be called doctored, but lies on paper? That's a credibility problem. Send a formal letter. Standard litigation hold language. Say we're preserving evidence and request they preserve all communications and records related to stays at the Marriott and Route 9. Any response will be retained. My attorney smiled slowly. You want them to deny it in writing first. After being told we're preserving hotel records, then we lock in third-party verification. And when their denials contradict the records, it's not a fair drama anymore. It's documented lies under legal scrutiny. She nodded. I'll draft the letter today. Beckett's lawyer responded within 72 hours. My attorney sent the letter directly to Beckett, copied his broker, referenced specific hotel dates, specific charges, but kept Sloan's name out of it. Beckett probably thought Kirsten was investigating. His lawyer's response was predictable. My client categorically denies any inappropriate conduct. He has never stayed at the referenced locations. Trent didn't have a lawyer yet. He just panicked, thought Ashby was onto him, texted her some defensive rant unprompted. She forwarded it to Sloan confused, and Sloan's messages still synced to that iPad on the counter. I watched it come through in real time. This is insane. I've literally never been to any Marriott with anyone. Someone's making stuff up. They had no idea it was me. They were denying to the wrong audience. They weren't careful because they never thought I'd do paperwork instead of begging. Perfect. They signed their own death certificates. In writing. With timestamps. After being told the hotels were being preserved. I signed the divorce papers that afternoon. Petition filed. Emergency restraining order on the accounts due to documented dissipation. Temporary order pending hearing after my attorney showed months of affair-related charges. Exclusive use of the house while things were pending. Judge signed off on alternative service after 3 failed attempts at personal delivery. Sloan didn't know any of it. She thought she was still in control. She thought she was the one with the plan. She had no idea the papers were already at the courthouse. Then I started setting up the dominoes. I wasn't trying to win the group chat. I was trying to win the paperwork. I built 3 evidence packets, each aimed at a specific pressure point. Each one included a section I labeled Documented False Statements. Their written denial on one side, the preservation confirmations on the other. Here's the lie. Here's what the subpoena will pull. Packet 1. Kirsten and Ashby. Clean, factual, brutal. 1 killer exhibit each. For Kirsten, Beckett's easy pass showing 8 Tuesday evening trips to the Marriott Toll Plaza in 2 months. Every single one matching a night he'd claimed to be working late. For Ashby, a screenshot of Trent texting Sloan from a customer's phone number, the Camry buyer, dealership area code visible. Packet 2. Trent's business partner, Weston. The guy who stays calm while counting liability like it's his favorite hobby. Same set of records, plus Trent's never been to any Marriott with anyone's statement sitting next to the preservation confirmations. Subject line, your partner has a credibility problem. You're exposed. Packet 3. Beckett's broker's compliance inbox. Most firms have one because real estate runs on reputation and fear. The killer exhibit, an expensed $127 lunch at the Augustine on March 3rd, logged as client meeting. Same day the hotel folio showed a room charge under his name. Subject line, ethics risk, agent credibility under scrutiny. I also had a 4th packet ready. Summit Financial H.R. Sloan's expense fraud, documented and time-stamped. Then Sloan gave me the trigger herself. The FaceTime notification lit up my phone. Sloan, my wife of 8 years. Background noise told me she wasn't alone. I could hear that upscale lounge downtown, venue, where her crew held court like they owned the place. I knew what was coming. I'd overheard her talking to Kirsten 2 days earlier about finally doing it, and the girls backing her up. They thought they were so clever, planning my ambush like it was a surprise party. They had no idea I'd been planning for months. I answered anyway. Let them have their moment. Her face filled the screen, makeup perfect, hair styled like she was heading to a photo shoot instead of another one of her Thursday night sessions with her crew. Having fun? I asked, settling deeper into my recliner. The house felt huge when she wasn't around, which lately was every night. Oh, we're having an amazing time, Kirsten said, shoving her face into frame. Dark hair pulled back tight, that look on her face like she was 2 seconds away from asking for someone's manager. She'd hated me since the day we met. Made snide comments about my job at the rail yard, always talked about how Sloan could do better. I never understood where the hostility came from. Now I knew. She was covering for Sloan's secret. Had been for months. Actually, Colt, we've been talking about you. The way she said my name made my jaw clench. Something about her smug expression that just screamed she was about to enjoy whatever came next. Hope it's all good, I said, keeping my voice flat. Ashby's face appeared next. Cheeks flushed, caught up in the moment. That hyped-up look people get when they're swept up in group energy. Well, that depends on your perspective, she giggled. Then Waverly pushed into frame. Phone up like she was recording. Probably was. Everything was content for her stupid lifestyle blog these days. Colt, we've been having some real talk tonight, and we've reached a unanimous decision. Sloan's voice went ice cold. It's time for us to get divorced. I sat there for maybe 10 seconds. Let the silence hang there. Watched them all staring at me through the screen, waiting for me to break down, to beg, to give them the reaction they want. Maybe Sloan was recording this for her friends. Turn my pain into their entertainment. Instead, I smiled. Slow. On purpose. Watched the confusion flicker across their faces. Funny you should mention that, I said. The papers were filed 3 weeks ago. You've been dodging the process server, so the court approved alternative service after 3 failed attempts. check your work email. The attorney correspondence is already there. Dead silence. What? Sloane's voice cracked. Divorce petition. Already at the courthouse. My attorney got an emergency restraining order on the accounts. Temporary order pending hearing because of the dissipation evidence. We filed for exclusive use of the house while this plays out. Kirsten recovered first. You're lying. You're just trying to... Am I? Sloane, check your work email. The one you never let me see. You got served electronically after dodging the process server 3 times. I watched Sloane's face go through about 6 different emotions in 3 seconds. She grabbed her phone, started frantically scrolling. But here's the part you really should hear, ladies. I leaned closer to my phone. None of you care that she's been sleeping with your husbands? They all froze. Like someone hit pause. What did you just say? Kirsten's voice went sharp. You heard me. Kirsten, when's the last time you checked Beckett's Easy Pass statements? 8 trips to the Marriott Toll Plaza over the past 2 months. Every single one on a Tuesday evening when he claimed he was working late. That's ridiculous. Ashby, does Trent still claim he's working late at the dealership on Tuesdays and Fridays? Because I've got texts he sent Sloane using a customer's phone number from the Camry buyer's sales paperwork. Ashby's smile had completely vanished. Her face went white. Nice try, Colt, Waverly finally said, but her voice shook. You're just deflecting, making things up because you're hurt. Am I? I let the smile widen. I've got the same set of records for everyone. Photos with timestamps, credit card charges, toll records. Even my neighbor documented every time Beckett's BMW and Trent's truck showed up at my house while I was at work. I paused. I've also got evidence that Sloane's been billing her affairs to Summit Financial as business expenses. Hotels, dinners, spa weekends, all documented. Sloane looked like she was going to be sick. Here's what's going to happen. At 5:12 tomorrow morning, Kirsten and Ashby are going to receive evidence packets. Everything they need to verify what I'm telling you. At the same time, Trent's business partner Weston is going to receive a packet showing how Trent's been using customer data to pursue affairs. And Beckett's broker is going to receive a compliance report about his work time misuse. You can't! Beckett's voice suddenly came through. Couples night. Of course. The husbands were sitting nearby while their wives orchestrated this little ambush. You can't do that. That's what, Beckett? The truth? I let that hang for a second. By the way, thanks for the letter your attorney sent. The one where you categorically deny any inappropriate conduct. My attorney has those hotels under preservation. Standard litigation hold language. When we subpoena, it's over. You lied in writing after being put on notice. Dead silence from his end. Same goes for you, Trent. I've literally never been to any Marriott with anyone. That's what you said. Those hotels are preserved. Your name, your card, discovery's coming. Colt, wait, Sloane started. No, you don't get to wait me anymore. You made this public. You brought your friends into our marriage. You tried to humiliate me on camera. I stood up, walked closer to my phone so they could see my face clearly. So now everyone gets to know the whole story. Enjoy the rest of your night, ladies. Something tells me it might be your last one together. I ended the call and set the phone down. Friday morning. At 5:12 a.m., I hit send on 3 emails simultaneously. I didn't go public. That's what people say when they want you to look messy. I went surgical. The first 2 went to Kirsten and Ashby. Subject line, you deserve the truth. Open this somewhere private. I didn't give a damn about these women, but I wanted this to be as chaotic as they deserved. My attorney advised against it. I didn't care. The third email went to Weston, Trent's business partner. This one came from my attorney's office. Subject line, notice of preservation and potential litigation exposure. She attached the customer data misuse, the timeline gaps, and Trent's written statement that he'd never been to any Marriott with anyone. Then the credit card charges. That wasn't gossip. That was a documented liar with access to customer information, wrapped in legal letterhead. The killer exhibit, a screenshot of Trent texting Sloane from the Camry buyer's phone number, dealership area code visible. The fourth email went to Beckett's broker's compliance inbox, also from my attorney. Subject line, notice of preservation regarding agent conduct under review. Beckett's lawyer had sent a formal letter denying everything. Now my attorney had the documentation that made that letter a credibility problem. The killer exhibit, a $127 lunch expense at the Augustine logged as client meeting on March 3rd. Same day the hotel folio showed a room charge under his name. By the end of the day, the truth wasn't spreading because I had some gossip buddy with a big mouth. It was spreading because I sent documented lies to the people whose jobs depend on not getting sued. Friday night, the doorbell rang around 9. Through the window, I saw 2 figures on my porch, Sloane and Waverly. Just the 2 of them. Sloane looked like she hadn't slept since the FaceTime call. Waverly was hovering behind her like some kind of moral support, arms crossed, chin up like she was ready for a fight. I opened the door but didn't step aside. What do you want? We need to talk, Sloane said. Her voice cracked on the last word. Please, just let us in. No. Waverly stepped forward. Colt, you're being unreasonable. She's your wife. You can't just... She's my soon-to-be ex-wife. And you're the woman who helped her ambush me on camera last night. Neither of you gets to walk into my house and demand anything. Colt, please. Sloane's eyes were red-rimmed, mascara smeared. I made a mistake. Multiple mistakes. I know that now. But we can work this out. We can go to counseling. Counseling. I let out a laugh that had zero humor in it. You want to work it out. After sleeping with Beckett. After sleeping with Trent. After trying to humiliate me in front of your friends. I was scared. I didn't know how to tell you I wasn't happy. So you cheated. With multiple men. For months. And then you staged a public execution. I shook my head. No. We're not working anything out. Waverly tried again. This is exactly what I was talking about. Toxic masculinity. You can't just shut down and refuse to communicate when... Waverly. I turned to look at her directly. You sat there last night recording my wife telling me she wanted a divorce. You were going to post it somewhere, weren't you? Turn my marriage ending into content for your stupid blog. She had the decency to look away. That's what I thought. I turned back to Sloane. The packets went out this morning. Kirsten and Ashby have everything. So does Weston. So does Beckett's broker. The rest is just waiting. You didn't have to do that, Sloane whispered. We could have handled this privately. You made it public. You brought your friends into our marriage. You tried to make me look like the bad guy. So now everyone gets the whole story. Colt, I'm begging you. Get off my property. Biatch. Please. Now. Waverly grabbed Sloane's arm. Come on. He's not going to listen. Jerk. No, I'm not. I stepped back and put my hand on the door. And Waverly, when you write your blog post about toxic men who won't communicate, make sure you include the part where Sloane was sleeping with her best friend's husbands. Really adds context. I shut the door in their faces, watched through the window as they stood there for a minute, Sloane crying, Waverly rubbing her back and glaring at the house. Eventually, they walked back to Waverly's car and drove away. I went back to my recliner, put on the TV, didn't feel a thing. On Saturday, Kirsten called me at 4 a.m. Not texted, called. Sobbing so hard I could barely make out words. Colt, I need help. I did something. Kirsten. I checked the clock. It's 4 in the morning. There's blood. Beckett's bleeding and I think I really hurt him, and the neighbors called someone and I don't... Slow down. I sat up, turned on the lamp. You're telling me you hurt Beckett? I hit him. There was a paperweight and the toll records matched, didn't they? Silence. Then more crying. He kept lying, Colt, even with the proof right there. He looked me in the face and kept lying. Yeah, they do that. What do I do? I let that hang there for a second, rubbed my eyes. Kirsten, I'm going to be real honest with you. Thursday night you sat there while my wife tried to end my marriage on FaceTime. You laughed. So right now, at 4 in the morning, while you're asking me what to do about the blood on your hands, I paused. I don't have anything for you. Colt. But hey, at least now you know I wasn't making anything up. So that's progress. Please, I just need... Call a lawyer. That's what you need. Good night. I hung up, turned off the lamp, and went back to sleep. Everyone was gossiping they said what actually happened. She went through Beckett's phone while he slept. By the time he woke up, Kirsten had the toll logs pulled up on her laptop. He tried denial first. When she pointed out she'd pulled them directly from their Easy Pass account, he pivoted to, "You're crazy." When that didn't work, he tried, "It was one time." She snapped. Not a speech. Not some dramatic moment. Just a clean break where the mask came off. Heavy glass paperweight from the nightstand. He went down into the dresser and started bleeding from his forehead. He tried to get up. Got hit again. That's when he stopped talking. Neighbors called 911. Cops showed up 20 minutes later. Beckett got taken to the ER. 7 stitches. Concussion evaluation. Kirsten got arrested for domestic battery. Beckett filed for a protective order before he even left the hospital. Kirsten wasn't winning. She was breaking. Charges, court dates, probably jail time. But that police report did one useful thing. It turned Beckett's affair from rumor into an incident with timestamps and statements. Beckett's broker didn't love waking up to agent involved in domestic dispute after cheating. The compliance report I'd sent suddenly looked a lot more credible. Funny how that works. Ashby called me Saturday afternoon. I guess they didn't have anyone else to freaking weep to. I found the phones. Her voice was flat, empty. 2 burners, under the backseat of his truck. Phones, plural. Dozens of messages, photos. Not just Sloane, 3 other women. One of them bought a car from him. He pulled her number from the sales paperwork. Customer data. That's a liability problem. I know. I forwarded everything to Weston. Told him to protect the dealership and do whatever he had to do. Smart. I'm not being smart. I'm being mean. Her voice cracked. I want him to lose everything. Then you called the right person. She laughed. Bitter. Broken. I'm sorry about the FaceTime thing. I should have asked more questions. Yeah, you should have. She hung up. The rest I pieced together over the following weeks. Weston panicked exactly like you'd expect. Emergency meeting with the accountant and attorney, customer records getting pulled, a paper trail getting built to remove Trent clean. Meanwhile, Beckett and Trent made the same mistake. They thought the best defense was attacking me. Beckett told anyone who'd listen I was having a mental breakdown. Trent claimed I'd doctored screenshots and probably hired hackers. Waverly posted about toxic masculinity and men who can't accept accountability. Nico met me at a coffee shop Monday morning with a final report. Compiled everything into one file, he said, sliding a flash drive across the table. Timeline's airtight, and that section I labeled documented false statements is doing the heavy lifting. That's the point. Affairs get you yelled at. Proven lies on paper get you unemployable. Beckett's lawyer sent a formal denial. Trent texted Ashby, I've literally never been to any Marriott with anyone. Now there's hotel records with their names on them. They didn't just cheat, they tried to rewrite reality. And I've got reality with transaction IDs. Beckett's broker wasn't investigating an affair. They were investigating a credibility problem. The compliance report showed work time misuse, sure. But the real poison? A formal letter from Beckett's own attorney, categorically denying conduct that hotel records and parking timestamps proved happened. That's not affair drama. That's an agent who lies under pressure. The firm didn't just bench him. They reassigned his biggest client portfolio within 2 weeks. 3 years of relationship building. Gone because nobody trusts a documented liar with their listings. What about Trent? Weston's moving fast. His attorney pulled the written denial from Trent's text to Ashby, then matched it against the hotel folio. Trent's name, Trent's card, Trent's signature. Now it's not affair drama. It's, this guy lies to partners when things get hot. They're preparing to buy him out. And Sloan? Nico hesitated. You hear about Summit Financial? What about them? Word got around somehow. HR started pulling her travel reimbursement records Friday afternoon. I hadn't sent Summit anything. I didn't need to. The truth has a way of finding its own way out. They put her on administrative leave pending review, Nico said. Things were moving faster than I'd expected. I heard later that Trent got called into a meeting with Weston, their accountant, and their attorney, about a week after the packets went out. Emergency partner review. Translation. You're getting removed, and we're making sure you can't claim wrongful termination without dragging yourself into discovery. The dealership's attorney had already started reaching out to customers, quietly, carefully, like they were diffusing something. They weren't accusing Trent of anything publicly. They were just updating contact preferences and ensuring customer satisfaction. But anyone paying attention could see the pattern. Trent wasn't the loud guy with the dealership anymore. Trent was a lawsuit waiting to happen. Over the next few weeks, his Google reviews tanked. 1-star ratings flooded in, most of them saying things like, can't trust a man who lies to his family, and if he cheats on his wife, he'll cheat on the deal. His honest deals from an honest man radio ads became a joke. By month's end, Weston had made his move, offered to buy Trent out at a discount with a non-compete clause attached. The alternative was a formal investigation into customer data misuse, potential reports to the state dealer licensing board, and discovery that would air every text message he'd ever sent. Weston didn't just buy him out. He made Trent sign a settlement that basically said, disappear quietly or we go loud. No references, no transition period, no announcement. Just a guy who used to be a partner suddenly wasn't anymore, and nobody was allowed to ask why. Trent took the deal. He didn't have a choice. Beckett's situation unfolded differently, but ended up in the same place. His firm put him on administrative leave pending review. That's how those companies do it. They don't fire you on the spot. They just cut you loose socially and let you starve out. The police report from the domestic incident didn't help him. It wasn't even the violence part that hurt most. It was the part where he tried to explain to responding officers why his phone kept pinging at the same hotel garage every Tuesday night. Turns out, I was just driving around sounds stupid when your toll statement is printed out. The ethics complaint I'd filed with the State Real Estate Commission started processing. Even if nothing criminal stuck, the investigation alone made him toxic in an industry that runs on referrals and reputation. Within 6 weeks, Beckett resigned from his firm to pursue other opportunities. Nobody was fooled. Sloan was waiting by my truck when I got off shift at the rail yard. She looked different, thinner, desperate. The polished corporate look was gone, replaced by something broken. I signed the papers, she said, before I could tell her to leave. All of them. Not contesting anything. I didn't respond. Just unlocked my truck. I also got officially terminated today. Summit completed their investigation. Turns out billing personal hotel stays to the company expense account is frowned upon. Who knew? I opened the door, tossed my bag inside. Colt, please. Her voice cracked. I'm not here to fight. I just need you to hear me out. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. You're not asking. You're stalling. I know I destroyed everything. I know there's no coming back. But I need you to understand that I'm sorry. For everything. For cheating. For the ambush. For the lies. For trying to make you look crazy when you were telling the truth. Tears started running down her face. I can't eat. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see your face on that FaceTime call. The way you just didn't break. Was I supposed to? I thought you would. I thought you'd beg. I thought... She wiped her face with the back of her hand. I don't know what I thought. I was so stupid. Yeah, you were. I'm staying at the Extended Stay America on the highway. I have nothing. No job. No friends. Kirsten won't even look at me. Ashby told me to never contact her again. Her voice got smaller. You took everything from me. No, you did that yourself. I just made sure everyone saw it. She stepped closer, reaching for my arm. Colt, please. I'm begging you. Just tell me there's some part of you that doesn't hate me. Some part that remembers what we had. 8 years. That has to mean something. I looked at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. Move your hand. Disgusting biatch. She pulled back like I'd burned her. Do you hate me? She whispered. Just tell me. I need to know. I laughed. Hate takes energy, I said finally. And you're not worth the investment anymore. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Colt, we're done here. Please just... Sloane. I turned to face her fully, and whatever she saw in my eyes made her take a step back. You wanted a divorce. You got one. You wanted out of this marriage. You're out. Now get out of my parking lot before I call security. I made a mistake. I made so many mistakes. But you still nothing. We're strangers now. Act like it. I got in my truck, started the engine. She was still standing there, crying, saying something I couldn't hear through the glass. Didn't roll down the window to find out what. I put it in reverse, backed out of my spot, and drove away. Checked the rearview mirror once. She was still standing there, arms wrapped around herself, watching me leave. I didn't look again. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.